So on the other hand, serializable will both prevent update, delete, and insertion together. So serializable will take care of everything. It won't allow an update. As I said you that this is one optimum or premium level thing. Serializable. This is again a 5-star isolation level that will take care of all, everything that we have done over here. So serializable is the solution to our phantom reads. Now, yes. So a new topic, not a new topic, something interesting that we are about to start. Triggers. So triggers, I hope you all know already about trigger. That triggers are something that happens and something according to the action. Event-driven stored procedures. First definition. They are what? Event-driven stored procedures. So first of all, they will be the stored procedures like something, and we can run them and can be set up for insert, update, or delete. We can set up event-driven triggers for insert, update, or delete. Can be set up to execution after the operation or instead of the operation. So again, we have these two types, and we'll see those two types that execute after the operation. Whenever operation is happening, just after that, uh, trigger some action, trigger some operation. Or maybe you want to use some other operation, so you will do instead of operation. So both of these are basically the forms of this, that whether you want a trigger to execute after some particular transaction, or you want to execute maybe a trigger after instead of some transaction. So again, that is something that we'll do. So these are the two types of that as well. So common uses: maintain integrity rules, complex than referential integrity. It basically maintains integrity rules, but it is less complex than it's more complex than referential integrity. Now, would anyone like to tell me what is referential integrity? Anyone? Because it's an old concept, you should know that referential integrity. Yes, anyone? Referential integrity definition. Okay, Mohammed says no idea. Mohammed, thank you very much. You have been always very actively replying, and as I said previously, also it's a very valid answer. No idea. Anyone else? Referential integrity, because it's a concept that is a very old one. You would have studied that in relational database. Alex or anyone, if you can come up with an answer. Referential integrity. What is what? It was to hazard a guess. I would say it might be related to foreign keys. All right. Yes. Okay, Mohammed. So Mohammed was, Mohammed was, uh, brave enough. So he just replied that I have no idea. No problem. So yes, foreign key relationships, or the relationships between the tables. So we just take care of that referential integrity, that if something is as a foreign key and at some other location, so if someone deletes something from one table, it should not be deleted from the other, or anything like that. So yes, so referential integrity refers to a hazard related to the foreign keys. So again, so this trigger will also be using that type of thing, but trigger will be doing a one step further, but it is basically more complex than the other one. So implement dependent operations such as cascading deletes. It can implement cascading deletes, and you know that referential integrity also, I was talking about, that referential integrity makes it helpful that if you are deleting something from one table, so if it is lying as a foreign key somewhere, you need to delete that. So cascading of deletion. If you remember that, you need to do that test cascading deletes if you want to do that. So audit trails, we can use as audit trails. It's a very important one, and we'll be using one of the example of audit trails. Invoke an external action based on some criteria. So again, trigger can be used for all these purposes. And this is first of all, you should remember from this slide, the main takeaway is that it is an event-driven stored procedure. An event-driven stored procedure that basically shows that. So types of triggers, there are different types of triggers that we have. We have DML triggers, we have DDL triggers, we have logon triggers. I'm not asking DML and DDL because I'm suspecting at least you must know that. I won't go into the later details, but we'll be only discussing or concerned with this DML triggers, manipulation triggers. So DML triggers fired automatically in response to DML events. So DML events are insert, update, delete. You know that DML is data manipulation language, and it contains insert, update, and delete. And we are only concerned with DML triggers in this in the purpose of this chapter. So insert, update, and delete, all those are the responses, or these are the DML triggers. They will be fired on the basis of insert. They will be fired on the basis of update. They will be fired on the basis of delete. So on the basis of any of these operation, basically we do what? We just initiate these DML triggers. So DML trigger types, you remember we have discussed this already. They are after triggers and there are instead of triggers. So they look a very awkward sort of description, but it is like that. After triggers without any space. After triggers and instead of triggers. DML stands for Mohammed. Very good question. It's the answer is data manipulation language, and I won't tell you what is DDL and what is not, right? So DML, data manipulation language. If you remember, when you talk about when you talk about this, insertion updation. So we are manipulating the data. We are inserting something. We are updating something. We are deleting something. It is basically called as insertion. It all is called as manipulation of the database, and the language that uses it is DML. So DML is very old slow concept of databases. Anyhow, so DML triggers. So data manipulation language triggers. Again, as we talked about, these are the triggers that will be fired on the basis of insert, update, and delete operations. We will be doing that insert, update, delete operation. So DML triggers are of two types. There are after triggers. They are instead of triggers. So it's a very interesting one. After triggers, as you know, if insert has happened, then trigger should be triggered, like it should be happen. Instead of trigger, I don't want this statement to run. I want instead of trigger. So instead of trigger, we'll just leave out, in same like if and else that we do in our programming languages. So as it said, after triggers fires after the triggering action. A triggering action is happened and it happens. What is the triggering action? Ins, up, and delete. So I've just short form. Insert, update, and delete cause the after trigger to fire after the respective statements complete execution. As you are done with the insertion, as you are done with the updation, as you are done with your deletion, the after trigger is fired. I hope everyone is making sense of it. Instead of triggers, it fires instead of triggering action. So instead of triggers is fired instead of triggering action. What do we mean? As I said, that after insertion, updation, deletion, and I had two inserts, for example, and I have defined after instead of trigger. So instead of trigger means you just don't implement this, you just go and run this trigger. It is called instead of trigger, fired instead of a triggering action. So it is basically, as its name suggests, instead of, and we usually use that for the purpose where we want to skip out some part of the code, some part of our queries, etc. Instead of the respective statement execution. So there is a respective statement execution, statement 1, 2, 3, 4, and here you have used instead of. So instead will do what? For example, there are transactions, so it will go to instead of trigger, and it will leave out those statement execution, respective statement execution. And we'll see that a little example of that as well. After trigger, so default type of trigger, it is a default type. And although multiple triggers can set up for a table for each event, it is not recommended. That is, more than one trigger for insert is not recommended. So you know what they are saying, the default type of trigger is the after trigger. And one of the thing is that we can set, it's although it's allowed that each event can have one after trigger. For example, if there are 5 insert statements, so it should execute for all, but it usually says that you have to do that this insert has to be done once. So it is not recommended. That is, more than one trigger for insert is not recommended. So you define one trigger for insert, and whenever any insert occurs, that trigger will be fired. And we'll see that. It is common to have different triggers for different events on a table. That is, separate trigger for each insert, update, and delete. So we can do that as well. So separate trigger for insert, separate trigger for update, separate trigger for delete, and those will run according to their own execution. So for example, if there is insert is happening, so insert trigger will be fired. If there is update happening, the update trigger is fired. If there is delete happening, the delete trigger is fired. So it basically fired. It is basically fired by every trigger. So in other words, it is not executed for each row affected. So it's not executed for each row affected. Rather, it is executed for a particular insert. So if update is updating maybe 5 rows, so it won't be triggered 5 times. Rather, it will be triggered for one update one time, and it will be just doing whatever you have asked it to do. So this is one good example. Create trigger delete test on region after delete. So again, they are using the same table, and I'll do it for our table. on region after delete. So we are doing what? Create a trigger. So this is keyword. This is the name of trigger. On region. So on table, you have to give it the table over here. So on table after delete. And what we are doing? We are doing it as a after delete operation. As begin, print deleted executed from trigger. So deleted executed from the trigger. So basically after delete, if someone has basically done delete, and after delete, this trigger will be fired, and it will just print that actually this delete has happened because of the trigger. This delete has happened from the trigger. It has not happened without a trigger. So same ways, now they have given another example, insert into region. So they are inserting two values, a 6 and a 7 value, and then a go statement for that running that. Delete from region where region ID is greater than 5. So we are saying delete from region where region ID is greater than 5, and we'll check that as well. We'll check that specifically with our code example. So let's try to do that. Hopefully my solution will allow me to run that. Let me just run that on that particular one. No, no, I want to save. All right, so now come here and let's try to maybe create delete trigger for this particular example, like we are doing it for our example. All right, so let me first check how much data is there so that we can, from accounts, let me check how much data is there. All right, so I have this two data. Let me just insert maybe some data. Do I have an insert statement? Yes, I have. So I'll do it maybe for 3 and change name, change value. And I can just run that with a 4 as well. Now keeping rest of the values same. Now 5 as well, keeping rest of the values same. And now if you run it, we have got this like A marks records with all those values 1 2 3 4 5. So ID is 1 2 3 4 5. So we have got those values over there. All right, so now what I'm doing is, so create trigger delete, and let's call it delete test because delete is a reserved word. On what table? Accounts you want to create it? Accounts, and after delete, as begin print deleted executed trigger. So trigger has happened that delete. So we've done that end. Everyone please do that. And now run this. Oh, so delete test, I would have done that before maybe. So delete test 1. I'm just taking the delete test 1 now. Okay, so now delete test 1 is created. Right. And now as we saw, what is the data we have? Let's see our data. Oh, so where did I put all those records? All right. Why it is not showing me the data? Because I just inserted a good amount of data. Did I delete something from somewhere? Anyhow, let's see that. So we have 1 2 4 1 2 5 and 3. These records are there. Right. So what we have done is we have run that. Okay, so we have already this delete test 1. So now what I want to do is delete from accounts. Okay, we can just see this example as well. Example that we, okay. So we are ID is greater than 3, for example. Right, so we are deleting from that account. Let me just quickly run that. Okay, so you see that what is coming over here, basically now it is running two of them, because I have just implemented 2 of them. Let me just remove them, and you know where you will find that. Let me just remove the previous one so that we are only able to see this one. So if you go to your table, this is accounts table, and you see triggers over here. Do you see the triggers over here? So I'm just deleting the delete test so that I can see the right result over here. Okay. So let me just greater than 1. I'm just now removing the greater than 1. Okay. So now do you see that deleted and delete occurred from executed trigger? So this one is this trigger has basically done that. Okay. There is something very interesting. Now let me run that again. Right. So now rather just let me check that how many records are here. 1. So there is one record over here, and let's just quickly put 1 record so that you can check this effect as well. I'm just putting that one. So now we have 2 records specifically, John and 3. All right. So now let's try to do that. Hopefully it works this time. 1 row affected, delete executed from the trigger. And now let's again done that. Okay, so delete exit from trigger. Why it is happening and what should happen basically? You know, when we have these 2 statements, you know, these 2 statements are not a part of a transaction. You know that they are basically acting as you know, individual or implicit transaction. So what will happen if you do that? If you just run this one and you just run this one, these 2 will be inserting the value, and then when you just start deleting it, so it will just go and delete that. So every time when you are running, it will just show you deleted executed trigger, and item is basically it's basically deleted from that one. So one thing that is missing over here and that I want to introduce for this is that this one is one example of deletion. Now see here, alter trigger delete test on region after delete as begin if row count is greater than 0, then begin. So basically what it should do, and let me just ask everyone that if that is happening with you people, so if you all of you are able to run these type of statements, and what is the result are you getting? Like again, if I again run this delete one more time, I'm again getting this delete executed trigger. It should not be the case now. So how many of you, if you run delete statement one more time and you are not seeing this deleted executed trigger, like trigger is not executing for the next delete, or trigger is basically right now it is executing for everyone. Now to solve that, or to find that out, that how we'll do that. So alter trigger delete test again whatever on region after delete begin if row count is greater than 0, then you just do that. So let's do this thing and let's implement that thing. Now see here, so begin, and after that begin, what we have to do, we have to just implement if at row count. You see, if row count is greater than 0, and why we are doing that? Because when I'm just again deleting, it should not show this delete executed trigger. Why? Because now there is nothing deleted. So we are trying to just capture that, and we are just trying to just, you know, see that if that row is greater than that, then it should do, otherwise it should not print over that. So now let's run this one, or maybe we cannot create that. So now I'll have to do what? Alter. So I have altered that, run it. You see command successfully run. And now let's run it because we won't have any quiz. So you see, what is the difference here in the previous one and this one? Yes, anyone? What is the difference between the previous statement execution and this statement execution? Anyone? Can someone come up with what has happened here? It affects 0 rows. The trigger does not reprint the statement. Yes, does not display. And again, as you know, that if there is some row, again, I'm just inserting this row so that we can find out the solution, find out this thing. And now I'm running this one explicitly. So you see deleted. Why? Because there was a 3, and now it is showing that one. And if I again run this one, You see 0 row affected and the trigger is not discussed. So something very interesting about that trigger, if you just implement this add at row count, and whenever I said that whenever this double @ comes, it basically shows what the system variable. So there is a system variable row count. If the row count is greater than 0, so you can just implement something. We have just begun and done that. So trigger is a transaction. So trigger is basically what both the statement and any modifications made in the trigger are implicitly a transaction. Rollback in trigger rolls back trigger and any modifications that cause the trigger to fire. If operation is in a transaction, the rollback in the trigger will abort the entire batch. So again, this is basically same, that trigger is also behaving as a transaction. So if it is becoming a part of that trigger, you know everything will be rolled back if your trigger is being rolled back or a trigger is not done. This is very interesting, and this is something that you won't find in your slides. I've just inserted and deleted. There are two special tables that are created during the trigger's execution. What does that mean? That when we are inserting something, it basically creates a temporary table, and its table name is inserted. And this inserted table keeps track of whatever has been inserted. For example, temporarily, it just keeps track of that. What does that mean? Now, yes, we are just doing insert now. We have seen an example of the deletion. Now we are seeing the example of insertion. Now see here, I'm creating a trigger, and as you see that I have already created this insert trigger, so I will call it insert underscore trigger, just to make it different from the other. On accounts, and forward, not for delete, rather I want to do it for insert. Now begin, select asterisk from inserted. Now see, what is inserted? We have not discussed it inserted, and we'll see that what is that inserted. Now all of you have typed that. And let me just delete this one so that again we can see the reality. Right. All of you done with it? Have you typed this? I put a dash line. That means I need your response, your response for about that. All right. Are you done with it? Now let's run it. Okay, so it has created one, and now let's do an insert. Let's copy the insert statement from the top, or maybe run this. Okay, do you see something as a result? We can see some results over here. And you know, this is not our main table, by the way. Why? Because our main table is this. If you see this, select accounts. You see we have John and A mark over there. But what it was showing, if you remember, or maybe let me just run that again, maybe with some new ID, 5, and not A mark, rather B mark. So that value is changed, and so we can see a difference. Run that. Now what we are seeing is only a single row. You know what we are looking at? This is that temporary table that it creates for a trigger during the execution. I hope everyone is getting that point. And if you check all the values from this, like by using select asterisk, what you see over here is everything, like 5 has been inserted in it. But what inserted was showing, what it was showing that, like for example, like, and another interesting point, if I just go over here and I try to run that, there is an error. Why this is an error? Anyone? Just read out error and tell me that why it is an error here. Inserted does not exist here. Insert level does not exist. Alex, why does not it exist? That's very good. Why does it not exist? As Mohammed said, does not exist yet, because this inserted is always part of the trigger body. Yes, execution of trigger. Same ways with the deleted. There is a deleted one also is created, right? That's very good, Alex. Thank you very much. You and Mohammed both always replying fast. So yes, so basically it is not inserted is not itself, it cannot exist. It only exists with that. Okay, so there's already object name. So insert trigger is already there, so we cannot just create that. I will just do that alter so that if something else happens, so it's happening and insert is created. And now if I do that insert again with some value, with value 10 ID maybe, I'm just inserting it and you insert that. So what you are looking at right now is basically the inserted table. I hope everyone is getting that. Now I've just made another good example of that so that we can more understand that. Now we'll just try to find out something from inserted, and then we'll just try to improve our trigger. Now see here, let's try to make that trigger now. All right, so let's see that how we are going to about that. So let's alter that event trigger, the insert trigger. We are altering it on accounts for insert as begin. We are beginning, but now not select. First we will be declare add ID int. We have declared an ID. Select add ID equal to ID from inserted. You see here we are using the inserted table over here. Inserted, and now what we are doing is insert into. Okay, now what we are doing is that I have created a temporary table. Let me just show you that table. I just created one more table, accounts DBO accounts info. So we want to put our some record from this inserted table into another table, right? And what is this DBO accounts info? Let me just quickly show that to you. Select asterisk from accounts info. Hopefully I've just written the right name and this exists also. Okay, so we have got these 5 records and I want to delete these, so that I want to show delete from accounts info. So let's delete everything from the accounts info. Okay, 6 rows affected, and now we have nothing in accounts. So account info has two fields only, and so two fields only. It's ID and info. There are these two fields only. Now what we are doing is that we are inserting one of the record that is about to be inserted in that. So trying to maintain that audit over here. So we are basically doing what? We are trying to maintain an audit over here. Now you see here into accounts info values. Let's put those values, and you know that we have only two fields over there. So what I'm doing is that maybe putting that by ourselves, and now adding that we are just trying to make that audit detail. So I'm just taking it over here and now just copying it here. New record with ID equal to plus, we have to cast it. And why cast? Because ID is coming as integer and we are taking it as now n varchar. 5 is enough, and then bracket close, then plus. So we are making a complete statement, is added plus. So we are casting what again? We are taking the get date. So you remember get date is for what? For getting the date. N varchar and maybe 20, because this get date required something. So hopefully I've used this right syntax. Maybe if that is not wrong. Okay, we'll check that later on. So now it is not from inserted, and we have already done that. We have ended it. Let me just run that if it is able to alter that or not. Okay, so now it is done successfully. And now let's do an insert on that with a value, maybe with an ID 100. You want to, someone's asking. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. So now what I've done is, again, I'm just inserting a value with 100 V mark, right? So I will just insert that. Okay, one row affected. So now what will be affected over here? Let's check that. We have this select. Let me just use that select statement over here. Select asterisk from accounts, and then that. So we are executing these two transactions. Now see here. So I actually inserted two records. So it's basically showing two times. So now you see what it is showing. It is showing first of all our main table, which is account table, and then it is showing accounts info. Accounts info has two records, which I've inserted by default of like two. And this is one with record ID 100 is added on October 9, 2020, 10:33, and then new record with 100 is added. So now let me just insert one more record so that we can see the difference over here. 300, and we have not changed the ID over there, that you can just do maybe an automatic or something. We have inserted something, and now let's run those two statements and run these two statements, and you see that now we have 300 added record as well. Anyone, you got the point? Are you able to run that? I would now stop here for some time for you people, because there are lots of things that we have done, and I want all of you to just have a look at it. So what we are doing is that this trigger is triggered on insertion whenever we do insertion, and as it is triggered, it does what? It basically defines an ID and integer, and it takes from inserted. So whatever is inserted, it takes that ID into it, and then what it does is insert into accounts info values, and it is inserting in another record, another table, which inserted, the inserted was something we could not see. But can we see this accounts info over here? Yes, because now we have permanently written it down in our record. Now I want everyone to just run that to successfully check that, then we'll move forward, because this is something that we have done now. How many of you are done with it and successfully able to run that? I'll be waiting for you now, so that you run it and then you let me know that you have done it correctly. All right. Is there anyone who has come up with this? Why in the chat window will work? It's very difficult to get a response from you people. Oh, yes. So I just created inside that same database where we are working, accounts info table, right? Mohammed, so I created it before. You can just make a create statement, and we just don't need anything fancy, just two fields, maybe ID and the info. So you can write it in some other table maybe, but you have to just keep in mind that this is passing two fields, like insertion one, this is the ID for that, and this is the new record with fluff, etc is being added to it. Mohammed, got the point? You can create another table with other name, and then you can just write in that. So anyone other than Mohammed able to see that? Maybe Alex, you? Okay, Alex, just try it out. Okay, no problem. So Alex is not able to run that. Mohammed, are you able to run that? You're also still working on that. Okay, okay, thank you. And others, if they are with us, Ethan, you were saying that you are with us. All right, Alex. So it's working for you. That's very good. I'm very happy about it that you are able to done that successfully. Anyone else, please? Ethan. Okay, Ethan, thank you. And others, maybe I would like to have at least one answer from others as well, so that it just gives you the sense of participation, sense of everyone being involved. Uh, Tran, I've not heard anything from you since so long. Jordan, I have not heard anything from you. Marisa, you are trying. That's very good, Marisa. So, Stephen, that's thank you, Stephen. You're still trying about that. So at least that shows that you are trying something. But if you don't get a reply, that looks like that if there is no one. Okay, so where we are right now, how much is sorry, how much is left about that? Okay, so we are at insert trigger right now. He made one named ID. I was just following along watching. Sorry, there's no column named ID or inserted table should be built in. No, oh no, Mohammed, you'll have to just since you are passing it, so you need to create that. All right. So let's just wait for one more result and then we'll just move forward because we have to just wind it up now. Okay, I'm waiting for at least one student to come up with the. Okay, Jordan, so you are just following along watching. No problem. So hopefully you are also trying those exercises because these all will help you in your future things as well, and your assignments as well, and your whatever is coming your way will be good for you. Anyhow, so looks like you people are trying, and hopefully you'll be able to try. If you are unable to do that, you can always come back to me. Okay, there's one exercise that I'll just leave out, and I'll just leave that on you. Write down the update trigger to show all changes done in the accounts table. So what I want you is that you just create an update trigger, and let me just tell you, because here we have the trigger has access to the data before and after operation in pseudo tables. So these inserted and deleted, they are called pseudo tables. So please bear in mind, because they are pseudo tables, they are not physical tables, but that we can see their contents, and they are dependent on a trigger. Rather, they cannot independently exist. So contain the rows that are result of the operation, cannot modify the data directly. We cannot modify anything in inserted or deleted operation because they are just there for finding out. Have same columns as underlying table. So their columns will be same because whatever table you are working on, they will just adapt all those columns and they'll show the record according to that specific one. So now delete, there is a delete table as well, or delete. Rows are deleted, rows are in deleted. So rows, when you delete something, it will be inside that deleted row. When you insert something, they are in the inserted table. These are the two pseudo tables. And interestingly, when update is done, old rows are in deleted and new rows are in inserted. So whenever you'll do that update, so what it will do is that old rows will go in deleted and new rows will go in the inserted. So again, that's what I have just asked you, that you have to just make one update trigger to show all changes done in accounts table. Whatever change has been made, for example, someone has inserted, that should also come. Someone has deleted, that should also come. So delete and update and everything should be coming. Take it as a take home assignment, something, an ungraded one, but I would love all of you to just write them and then submit it to me, send an email to me. But again, it's not of grade, so it's not something compulsory, but that would be good if you can just create a update trigger and show all the changes in account table. As we saw that we are showing at least some of the changings over here. Let me just show that. So you know that we are trying to see all those changes in that, and we know that that these changes can be done as we did with the inserted only, and we can just find out those changes when we just again just alter that out and we just insert something. This was for insertion. So when we insert something with an ID of 3700 and I insert that, so what we see is basically that it is basically inserted into that, and that insert trigger is fired on that. So you have to just make that update one if you can, and you can just, if you are done, you can just submit it that. So again, but please keep in mind, it's an ungraded one. Again, no grades for that, no compulsion for that, but it will be good if you can submit that this update one. So this is the access to data. So we have that access to data. Recursive triggers are not recursive by default. If recursion is desired, we have to change SP configure values to nested triggers option on true. So we do that, and we are not doing it right now. We are just about to. So instead of trigger, just to end our class, instead of trigger, replace the insert, update, or delete action. So they are in replacement of some transactions for some executions. Different from after triggers as follows: only one instead of trigger allowed for each action. Only one trigger allowed. Cannot be used with cascade on a table. No cascading allowed. Cannot be recursive. And instead of trigger cannot be recursive, cannot cascade on a table, and can only be instead of trigger allowed. Only one instead of trigger is allowed. So generally used to update views that are normally not updatable. So it's those views that are normally not updatable. Views with join generally cannot use delete, but use instead of delete can be created to customize the action. So we can do that. And specifically, you can, if you want to have more information of that, you can just look at that. So select statements, print statements, not a good idea in triggers. Select or print are not good idea, but again, we do that for sometimes. We use them to illustrate the concept. So we basically do them illustrate. How do we capture the results of select or display the expression in a print? So basically, you remember that we have done one, that you can capture something in select, and you can just do that in print, of course, if you want. But they say that they are not good idea in triggers. So it's never a good idea to use these one. So if you want to have more help, more information on that, you can just go to that book, or maybe MNDN SQL Server help. You will find lots of help. Having said that, we have just reached to the end of it, and thank you very much for joining. And I would love to have that ungraded class task that I've given, and that was basically related to the update trigger. So I would love to receive that. You want us to join? So just send trigger code. Yes, just trigger code. Yes, that will be enough. You can write that in the email. When you are done, Alex, you just copy that and put that in email. So no need for any formal project, formal something. Any other questions? If you have no questions, then we will just stop recording.